Easy Mutt Coins provides safe Madden 22 coins, and they have the cheapest prices among all the sites. It's a trusted website. Please use my code GS to enjoy 5% off, and make sure you follow their official Twitter at EasyMutt1 for coin giveaways and more. What up, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Just. Welcome back to another Madden 22 video. Hopefully, you guys are doing fantastic. So, you know what? EA, even though they got me blocked on Twitter, they going ahead, and I feel like they do a pretty good job of listening to some of my suggestions. Because I know for a fact that some of my suggestions make it into the game. So last year, I went ahead at the end of the year, and I hit up RG and a couple other people in the tweets. I'm like, you know what we need? We need an ability called Precision Kicker. It's facts. Type in Mr. Golden Sports Precision Kicker on Twitter. You'll see it come up late last year. And I'm like, not everybody wants to have the slow kick meter. Sometimes you just want the kick arc at all times. One, it'll definitely help, with punting. You guys know I love my special teams. I know you guys don't punt, but I punt. I go on ahead and I punt. I'm going to go on ahead and I'll be punting out there. Let's take a look at my head-to-head. 95 for 100. I'd have missed 5 field goals. 58-yarder longest. And they went ahead and they put in an ability, literally called Precision Kicker, where the arc is on at all times for 1 AP. Meaning you can put on your kicker and punter, or you can put your kicker or Precision Kicker and clutch kicker and whatnot. I feel like this ability right here is, pretty good. Because in the playoffs, right, the kick meter, the kick arc is gone. Now, it's tough to go away from the slow kick meter. And most people don't have Justin Tucker, right? Because he's very, very, very expensive. But at some point, everyone is going to have a top-notch kicker because they get a lot cheaper. You're able to put focus kicker on them, and everyone is just going to go with that. But this right here is not bad. Like, Precision Kicker is not bad because, again, you get to see your kick arc at all times. And it's definitely going to help out if you decide to punt the ball once every 6 seasons or so. I know I punt because, I want to try and make it difficult for you, as much as possible. And having that kick arc there, if you're in the regular season, it's always there. But in the playoffs, that kick arc is gone. So, you'll mess around and not know if you could really make a kick because that kick arc is not there. Or, you'll punt it too much out of bounds or too inbounds because the kick arc isn't there. So Precision Kicker, it's a nice little addition. Here's what I think should be done about theme teams. I really feel like this is a very good idea, and it'll drastically change the dynamic of a theme team. Now, this is my suggestion. I'm going to send this to RG too. Hopefully my guy RG is listening. RG, by the way, I'm upset that you guys got Mac Jones. I really, really, really like Mac Jones. He looks so good. Why didn't we draft him? I don't know. Hopefully Lance develops into a goon because I really feel like Mac Jones is going to be something special. But this year, I've changed to several theme teams, right? I started off with the Broncos, then I went to the Jets, then I went to the Buccaneers, then the Patriots. Now I'm with the Titans. And I really, really, really feel like this theme team idea will change everything about how theme teams are ran. And I really, really, really feel like it will just make the game more dynamic. It would make it more fun to see different teams and stuff like that. Because there are hardcore people that's going to go on ahead and get their team no matter what. I'm not one of those people. As a Niner fan, I don't go out and get, all Niners. I try to get the best players for my scheme. I try to get the best players to help me be as successful as I possibly could be. So that means I'm going to want the better tight ends, the better run blockers, the better defense, the better kicker, the better punter, and things like that. That way I can hopefully be, successful. And, most of the time, that doesn't fit the theme team that I'm trying to do. Even though so far this year, it looks like there's 3 theme teams where if I were to do right now on either side of the ball, I would still be able to run everything it is I like to run. And that's the Cowboys, the Titans, and the Raiders. Those 3 theme teams I could do and be very successful because I have, everything it is I need. But the Titans more so because of what they have available offensively. To me, is just insane. I still, even though the Raiders are blooming, I still feel like the Titans are the best team in the game. But that's all subjective. Most people, you see, they run the Raiders, rightfully so. They're definitely stacked. But what I love about the Titans is that I can have four guys out of the on the O line, and that helps me get extra guys that's not a part of the team. That helps me get extra defenders, because you take a look here on offense, I can run an entire, like a literal entire Titans team, and be very, very, very successful, because they got some of the best players in the game. In my opinion, they got the best running back in the game. I feel like that's undisputable. Derrick Henry is just different. I feel like they have the best wide receiver core. Even though the Raiders have Jerry Rice, who's a route runner, and he does get route tech for two. You can just put, if you're running in against man-to-man and stuff like that, you can just put short, what is it? Short out for two, and you'll get the route tech cut against man-to-man pretty much every time. But the Titans have Andre Johnson, Corey Davis, Julio Jones, and those guys are like the best run blocking wide receivers in the game, like by far. Like, I mean, you got Brandon Marshall, but you'd have to obviously go Bears or Jets, and those teams aren't as good as the Titans. Andre Johnson has the highest run blocking in the game. Corey Davis' run block is like almost 70. And Julio Jones, even though his run block is low, he just blocks like an animal. So I can run the ball, have those three guys out there, and be very successful with them blocking. I can pass the ball, obviously, to Andre Johnson, who's 96 speed on a team. Randy Moss is 97 on the Titans team. Corey Davis gets up to 95 on the team. Their tight ends, Jared Cook, Wycheck is the best run blocking tight end. And then, defensively, they're stacked as well. They have four great pass rushers in Harold Landry, Brian Arackle, Javion Clowney, Javon Curse. They have, because their O-line is so stacked, I'm able to pull a bunch of different guys that's not that's not Titans, like Jeremy Chin. Like, I have Lawrence Taylor. I have right outside linebacker Ed Reed. I have Marcus May. I have, who else do I have over here? Charles Woodson. The team is that. But anyways, this is what I feel like would change everything about the team. And if this were to be in effect, it would drastically change the Titans team. I feel like attributes should be different per team you are on. Like, let's take a look at, let's say, Lawrence Taylor, right? Lawrence Taylor only played for the Giants. So his attributes would remain exactly the same from stock. Whatever they are, that's what they're going to be, right? He's got 93 power move, 93 finesse move, 90 speed. That stays the same, right? Because he was a giant his entire career. Let's take a look at Randy Moss and the several teams he was on, right? We take a look at Randy Moss, and we see that he was a part of a lot of teams. Now, he wasn't Randy Moss on all these teams, right? The Vikings, he was dominant, right? Then you have the Patriots, where you could say he was probably his most dominant he's ever been. He broke the receiving touchdown record that year. He was insane. But if you want to say that Viking Moss and Patriot Moss are the same, I'll give you that. But Randy Moss wasn't that good on the Raiders. He wasn't. He wasn't that good on the Raiders. He damn sure wasn't that good on the Titans or on the 49ers. I feel like if Randy Moss has 92 stock speed and you power him up and you go with Titans, Raiders, or Niners, his attributes should decrease. He should not have the exact same attributes as a Patriot Randy Moss. That's like saying Shaquille O'Neal on the Celtics was the same as he was on the Lakers or Magic. That's just not true. That's not the case. And we know that. There's a lot of players that are part of a lot of teams just because they played 1 year with them at like the tail end of their career, and they're able to go on ahead and snatch them up and have more success to their team by making those players even better, right? So you got some players that were equally as dominant on multiple teams, like Charles Woodson, right? I feel like him on the Packers, him on the Raiders, both of them were dominant. Both of them were really, really, really good. So you're able to make a case where, either team you want to choose, you're able to go on ahead and receive those same attributes. Like Jerry Rice on the Seahawks should not be the same as Jerry Rice on the Niners. It just shouldn't. Jerry Rice on the Raiders shouldn't be the same as Niner Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice was most dominant as a Niner, and I feel like if you want to go on ahead, let's say he has stock 92 speed, and if you want him, you have him as a Niner. Those are his attributes for him as a Niner. Let's say Randy Moss, right, has stock. Well, he has +6 speed because of the theme team and the scary speed. But this Randy Moss has stock 92 speed, right? Let's say I power him up, and then I choose the Vikings. That will be +1 everything from the power up. Let's say I go Patriots, +1 everything from the power up. Let's say I go Raiders. I feel like that should be -1 everything to the power up. Why? Because Randy Moss wasn't that good as a Raider. Let's say you went Niners. It could be -1, maybe even -2. He just wasn't that good as a Niner. Randy Moss on the Niners should not be as good as someone that runs a Vikings theme team, someone that runs a Patriots theme team. Like I'm able to get him as a Titan, and I'm able to have him juiced just because he played for the Titans, and he wasn't that good. Andre Johnson, the same thing. When was he most dominant? As a Houston Texan. But I'm able to go on ahead and give him Titans theme team, and I'm able to soup him up. I feel like if you have him as a Texan, he should be able to get his full attributes +1. But if I went Colts or if I went Titans, it should be a decline. It should be a decrease because I have Andre Johnson on the Titans. This isn't Andre Johnson on the Houston Texans. Andre Johnson on the Houston Texans was a complete different animal from Andre Johnson on the Tennessee Titans. Andre Johnson as a Texan was one of the most dominant receivers for a stretch where he was just absolutely disgusting. He was feared. He was an animal. He was a dog. He was a goon. He was putting up stupendous numbers. Then at the end of his career, he goes to other teams, and you're telling me I'm able to boost him up in Madden +6 speed because he was a Titan for a small portion of his career, and he damn sure wasn't as good as he was, as he was on the Texans. I feel like it changes everything, right? I feel like Michael Vick on the Falcons and Michael Vick on the Eagles should be really, really, really good, right? Because he was very, very, very good as an Eagle. He was definitely the most explosive Madden player we've ever seen as the Falcon. But if you have him as a Jet or a Steeler, I feel like it should decrease. I feel like it changes everything. I feel like it just makes everything about theme teams completely change. That way, when you actually get players for that theme team that came out, it just changes everything. It absolutely changes everything. Like, yes, I have a Titans theme team. Hey, we're able to get Andre Johnson. Okay, he's not going to be as good as Houston Texans Andre Johnson. But Titans Andre Johnson right now is better than the 88 A.J. Brown that they have available. So, even though I'm going to be -1, he's still really, really, really good. Let me go on ahead and scoop up this Andre Johnson. But if you have a Titans theme team, if you have a Houston Texans theme team, that's different. You're able to enjoy the full-fledged, attributes that guy has to offer because that is where he was most dominant. Again, that's like comparing Phoenix Shaq, Celtic Shaq, Cavalier Shaq to Laker Shaq. It's not the same. Let's say 2K had a power-up system. Let's say they had the exact same thing, and they had like dynamic with theme teams and stuff like that. If I'm able to run a Phoenix Suns theme, and I'm able to get Shaq there, you telling me I get the exact same attributes as Shaq on the Lakers? It's not the same thing. It's not. And it shouldn't be that way. At least that's, my humble opinion. I feel like it changes everything. What are you guys' thoughts and opinions? I really feel like it opens the game up so much more, right? Because I remember last year, I was running the Cardinals theme team, and then J.J. Watt had gotten moved to the Cardinals, and I was like, man, if he gets a card, he's going to be monstrous. And then they dropped the free agent card, and he was any theme team. And he got all 32 of them, kind of like how, Devin Hester, Junior Seau, Dan Marino, those guys get any team. And I was like, it completely defeats the purpose of running the theme team. Like, I'm going up against a Seahawks theme team and they get the same J.J. Watt that I'm able to get. They're able to go on ahead and get the exact same. Now I feel like if you do that with, the Cardinals, let's say, J.J. Watt, for a brand new player going on a new team, then I feel like, his attributes should stay the same. You power them up, you go +1. But I feel like it's different for, players. Now, obviously, J.J. Watt was, absolutely, what do you want, 2, 3 defensive players of the years, like all back-to-back. With the he was disgusting, and he's not going to be able to do that in Arizona. So if you want to go on ahead and say, hey, if you power him up, you lose, -1 as a Cardinal. But he's better than, not having him at all, or whoever the Cardinals have. So that makes the Houston Texans team a little bit more valuable, because Houston Texans J.J. Watt is definitely better than Arizona Cardinal J.J. Watt. Being able to have, Randy Moss on the Raiders shouldn't have the same attributes as Randy Moss on the Vikings. He just shouldn't. I refuse to believe that should be a thing. There's just so many players that way that just are able to sneak a theme team and be able to, utilize and make that theme team even better, even though that player wasn't as dominant or good on that team. There's so many players like that. And I feel like it just changes everything, absolutely everything. There's no difference, in between, if someone got 50 out of 50 Vikings and I have 50 out of 50 Titans, if we put our Randy Mosses together, they're the exact same Randy Moss. That should never be a thing. It shouldn't. This is Ultimate Team, right? This allows us to put our favorite players and teams together as one unit, and my Titan Randy Moss shouldn't be able to compete with a Vikings Randy Moss. It just shouldn't. Right? Now, we want to be able to choose a team, so if us choosing a team, we have to make that matter. We can't just sit here and say, oh, freaking a player played 1 year, very last year of his career with the Oakland Raiders, even though, he was extremely dominant, before. Like Bruce Smith on the on the Washington football team, isn't the same as Buffalo Bruce Smith. It's just not. Now, some players, again, like you got Reggie White, that was, pretty good in multiple teams, the Eagles, the Packers and stuff like that. And, some players, rightfully so, like I said earlier, like Charles Woodson, had very, very, very good, dominant career. Like, Michael Vick was a monster. He had monstrous stuff as an Eagle, same as the Falcon. But I feel like, obviously, the Falcon should be, better than the Eagles. If not, definitely better than the Steelers or the Jets. Like if Brett Favre were to drop, you will be out your mind if you're going to sit here and tell me Brett Favre was the same as Packer Favre. It's just not the case. Shouldn't be that way. You have Terrell Owens, who was a main Niner, who did pretty good in Dallas, but then he's able to get other teams where, at the end of his career, it's just not the same. The same with Chad Johnson, same with a lot of players. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. I'm just throwing this out there. I really feel like it just changes a lot. Again, my 50 out of 50 Randy Moss on the Titans should not be the same as 50-50 out of Vikings. That right there makes him more valuable as a Viking. We would look, and I would be able to look at Randy Moss and say, damn, on the Titans, he actually, loses the speed if we power him up. And, let's say it's 92 speed and, you power him up. Or he stays the same. Maybe he doesn't have to lose speed. Let's not say -1. Let's just say it stays the same. If you want to put, Tennessee Titan Randy Moss out there. But Tennessee 50 out of 50 Titans Randy Moss, even though he doesn't get any pluses, is still better than whoever the Titans have right now. But if you're looking like, damn, imagine if I had a Vikings team. Imagine how much better this Randy Moss would be if I had Vikings. Or imagine if I had a Falcons team, how much better my Michael Vick would be. Or if I had, this team, how much better this guy would be. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. I need to know. Am I bugging? I feel like it's a good idea.